This next session will help you overcome the challenge of extending your CMS with a handy free Salesforce Labs app called CMS Content Type Manager. My name is Kathleen Lueckeman. I'm away from my normal home base in Michigan, visiting Westmont College in sunny Santa Barbara, California right now. I'm sitting in the Global Leadership Center and I'm wearing a cloud print dress. Probably not surprising to those who know me well. I am a customer and I serve as the Chief Strategy Officer at Olivet Nazarene University. Olivet is the third university at which I've implemented Salesforce. I'm a Salesforce MVP and have been active in the community since about 2011, my very first go live, establishing many of the foundational resources and supports for the higher education industry. I'm joined today by Riley Schill, and I'll ask him to introduce himself.
Thank you, Kathy. I'm Riley Schill. I'm with Stratus, a consulting company I founded in 2021. I too have been active in the Salesforce community, but unlike Kathy, I grew into my Salesforce role starting just as a student worker at Florida Polytechnic University, where it was just loading data into Salesforce, and that just went on to being hired as a full-time system admin when I graduated and promoted to a Salesforce developer a year later. And then I have both my admin and developer certifications. And yeah, with that, we can jump on into it. So let's get started. First, I wanted to point out that your native CMS app has been renamed. It's now called the Digital Experiences app to align with the name change of Community Cloud to Experience Cloud. And literally, you just launch this app from the app launcher, create a workspace, create the content right in the app, but like everything Salesforce, using CMS is more than just clicking a new button. So, in the Digital Experiences app, there are two default content types. That's news and images. Think of content types as if they are a template that you can clone for use in any workspace. And then there's a handy drop-down that lets you view, clone, and delete. However, an admin can't create a custom content type. Out of the box, you can only create custom content types using the metadata API. And that is where CMS Content Type Manager comes in. So with that, that's a Salesforce Labs app where you can install right from the App Exchange with the click of a button. And of course, once you do install it, you'll be able to create and edit custom content types declaratively. Now I will turn it over to Kathy to talk about how she used this app at Olivet.
Thanks, Riley. We did indeed use this app a lot when we wanted to welcome and onboard new students into our student community at Olivet. To do that, we created custom content types declaratively, and we used the content types you see listed here in our Wayfinder workspace. These content types are title, image, header, subheader, body, call to action, URL, and order. I'm going to say those a lot because we created a bunch of them. Wayfinder is the name of our community at Olivet, and you can kind of see it here on the screen. And you can manage your content right here in the workspace in the community. I want to point out that you do have to be a system administrator or have permission to access workspaces in your digital site. But this is where we added our content that we designed using the custom content types created in CMS Content Type Manager. Now, to display content in your community, you can use those standard CMS components right in the builder in the digital experience, or create a custom one. In Olivet's Wayfinder community, we did both. Want to see it in action? Yeah, I think we should. Let's jump into the digital experience as if I were a brand new student. And then we'll go into Olivet's org to see how we did it. So I'm going to get out of this presentation for just a moment and jump over here into the community. Right here is the Wayfinder community. And I would say the first thing that we did is we created a custom component called a welcome mat. This is how we welcomed and onboarded new students into our community. We automated it in the background of Flow, and I'll show you the welcome mat in a bit in the org. This welcome mat that you see here was displayed to our students. And it is essentially a 3-slide pop-up that orients the students to the community. This is meant to be just a quick explanation of the community to get them started. For the welcome mat, we created the content using custom content types. Again, like I said, for the title, which is where our logo is, an image, which appears in the middle of the screen, a header and subheader, which is just under the graphic, and the body, which is where we could put text. We also have a call to action, which is our button down there on the right-hand side, and a URL, which is embedded into the button. Finally, we created one called order so that we could order the slides, put the slides right in order. At the bottom, we also have a progression bar that displays the number of slides with a visual indicator of where you are in the slide process. At the end, we have a call to action button that takes the students through the welcome mat and to the first page that we want them to see. Now, let's jump into the org. Here, right here is our digital experiences app that Riley mentioned. And here is the welcome mat that I just showed you in all of its little individual pieces. I had to upload graphics and things like that right here in the workspace. You can see this is in the org itself. And it shows just like this in the digital experience workspace, which is available in the actual community itself. It's really a great convenience because you can work in the org or in the workspace. Plus, you can give non-administrator users the permission to access that workspace and not be necessarily in this area in the org. Now, let's go to the CMS Content Types Manager. This is the Salesforce Labs app. To see, this is how we put together the different functionality of the welcome mat. This is the CMS Content Types home screen, and you can see welcome mat right in here. From here, once it's created though, you can only, as Riley said, view, clone, or edit. And then this is, like I said, our individual pieces here, which we had to build first so that we could take a look at putting them all together in the welcome mat. So let's view the welcome mat. See right here. You can see in this custom content type that we have several different nodes. Right here are the nodes. These are the different nodes that we created and put into the welcome mat. On the left are the nodes, and you can see that with each node that we created, it had to have a label and an API name, a type, and we could even say whether it was mandatory or not. Interestingly and happily, there's both a place for placeholder text and for help text. And let's kind of go into the Salesforce Labs app and actually create one to see just how easy it is to create. So I started one here. Let's see, if you're normally in here, you would just click this new button. I've already done that. And like I said, I have to give it a label and a developer name, which is the API name. And of course, a description. We want our org to be well documented. And so we always include a description. And then we come down here, and this is where we add the nodes. You'll see there's a first node that is added for us. And so it's default. We're always able to have the title in it. We have to have a title in it. But we can create new nodes simply by clicking this new add node button. When I click this add node button, It adds a whole row for me to create the node. This is where I can add a title. I think I'll call it date. And then I have to give it, of course, an API name, and I'm going to call it date. Here, these are the different actions, representatives, those types of things that you can actually do when you are creating a node. So I'm going to pull it down to date. I could indicate whether it was required and add some placeholder text or help text. But what I'm going to do right now is just create this sample one, just so you can see how easy it is. When I click create, though, you will see that there is a big message that comes up that says, after you create this, you can't edit it. Remember when I showed you that drop down next to the welcome mat where you could view it, you could clone it, you could delete it, but you can't edit it. So you have to take this pretty seriously. If you're not ready to create it, don't click that confirm button. But when you are, and you know that you have a solid node all set up, you can just create this by clicking the confirm button. And with that, I am going to stop sharing this org, and I'm going to reshare so that we can see this slideshow. And I'm going to turn it back over to you, Riley.
Awesome. Thank you for that great demo, Kathy. So that wraps up our session. If you're looking to continue your Salesforce Lab Day journey, of course, first check out the app that we discussed in today's session, plus the other amazing Salesforce Labs apps that are linked here, and get exploring on the App Exchange. And don't forget to follow Salesforce Labs on Twitter and participate in that great sweepstakes for the Labs branded bike. All you need to do is answer some fun questions around Salesforce Labs. Restrictions apply, and you can check out the rules linked above. So thank you so much for joining us today, and please do not hesitate to reach out to Kathy or myself at any time if you want to chat about this app or our use case.